Today I'm gonna try to make biscuits, but as you'll see, it's not gonna go the way we planned. Start off with 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, spooned and leveled off. Then, according to this recipe by Sally's Baking Addiction, you're gonna add 2 tablespoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of salt. Go ahead and whisk that together, or if you're doing this in a food processor, pulse it a few times until it's mixed together thoroughly. Next, grab 1 stick of unsalted butter that is very, very cold and cut it into cubes. Add the butter into your dry ingredients and cut them together with a pastry cutter or again by pulsing several times in the food processor. You're going to do this until some coarse crumbs form, and this is where I started to notice things going a little bit awry. And yet we persist. Make a well in the center of your flour mixture and pour 1 cup of buttermilk on top. Then you're going to stir everything together until it's just combined, and the dough should look like shreds, which, again, this is where I started to notice that things were maybe not going the way that they should have been. This is not the consistency that we're looking for. Anywho, lightly flour your work surface and dump that baby out. Then begin to press it into like a rectangular shape. Again, this is not how it should look. That is way too sticky. I added more flour, I patted it down, it didn't help. But still, I folded each side of the rectangle into the center and flattened it out, and then began to roll it out with, you guessed it, an olive oil bottle. Bold of you to assume I have a rolling pin. Once you've rolled it to about 3/4 of an inch thick, take a biscuit cutter or a gnome stemless wine glass, of course, and begin to cut your biscuits. Make sure that your flour farts out the side, and never a dull moment in Maddi's kitchen, I gotta say. Transfer your biscuits to a parchment paper lined baking sheet. You're gonna spread a little bit of buttermilk on the top of each biscuit. It felt weird, man. I baked these babies at 425 for 15 minutes as recommended, and they came out terrible. That's awful. So I went back to the drawing board. I decided, okay, you know what? Let's try a different recipe. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's this recipe. I don't know. This time I cut the butter into slices instead of cubes, and I stuck them back into the fridge till I was ready to use them. Then 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And I whisked all of that together, then added the butter, and used the pastry cutter again just like the last time. We're looking for coarse crumbs, and I thought it was going to be better, but we only had a slight difference. But we added 3/4 of a cup of cold buttermilk anyway and stirred just to combine. Then the mixing, shaping, and baking was the same as the first time, and while they're a little bit taller, they really aren't that much better. I may be from Tennessee, but I guess I'm not Southern. See you in my kitchen next time.